Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'm going to give all praises to the one true power, Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Rakak, Kwadash. Yahweh is the Most High God, and Yahushai is who the world eminently calls Jesus Christ. The Rakak, Kwadash is the Holy Spirit in the Paleo-Hebrew. Double honors to the elders, a great millstone, who teach well and rule well through the Spirit, Lord willing they can continue to endure and be sincere. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit that's teaching this word and believing this word. Lord willing you can continue to endure and be sincere in the faith. And shalom to the Akwatiyam that are believers of the faith in this truth. Lord willing you can continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving, silent, and virtuous wife. And Lord willing the most to have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. This is another doctrine cleanup. You know, I did a lesson on where Deuteronomy 23:7, where it says at Horm, an Edomite, that was a clerical error. So we're going to go into 1 Samuel chapter 22, verse 17 and 19, and it's another clerical error, and we're just going to fix it up, right? Where it's going into Doeg the Edomite is really Doeg the Syrian. But let's just get these verses and then get the definition, right? So this 1 Samuel chapter 22, verse 17 to 19 in the KJV. And the king said unto the footmen that stood about him, turn and slay the priests of the Lord Yahweh, because their hand also is with David, and because they knew when he fled and did not show it to me. But the servants of the king would not put forth their hand to fall upon the priests of the Lord Yahweh. And the king said to Doeg, turn thou and fall upon the priest. And Doeg the Edomite turned, and he fell upon the priest, and he slew on that day 80, which is 85 persons that did wear a linen ephod. And Nob, the city of the priests, smote he with the edge of the sword, both men and women, children and suckling, and oxen and asses and sheep with the edge of the sword. Right? That man really killed 85 priests, man, just for Saul. But let's get into the main point. You see Doeg the Edomite.
Strong's H130. Edomi. And the form just below that, Edom.
And it's, I think, a diam or a diamaya. I'm probably saying it wrong. But it's ADA, I believe. I could be mistaken. But we go down to the KJV translation Strong's H130, Edomites, and it say Syria. But when we was just reading that verse, it was no Syria in the verse. So you go to the Strong's definition, Adomim, right, where it says from H1213, which is right here where the root word is at, but now it's telling us to see H726, an Edomite or descendant from. So let's click that, and now it gives you another root word homology where it shows that it is a clerical error, and it should be this.
Strong's H726, Aromim. And the form just below that, Adomi.
Right? And that goes, this is a clerical error, and it's supposed to be a Aramite, a Syrian, right? And then you got the word right down here again, clerical error for H130. In Edomite, as in the margin, Syrian. So H130, let's click that H130. And it brings us back to 1 Samuel 22, which is a Syrian, right? He's Doeg the Edomite is a Syrian, right? And when we click down here, I see it's saying something. 2 Kings 16:6 is an incorrect reading for it, right? So let's see. Let's look at that one more time before we move on. Okay, we see. We click H7. Okay. So let's look at what clerical error is. A clerical error, going in a Google search, it says a clerical error could be something like mistyping a name on a document, right? Which Doug the Edomite is a mistyped name, right? Or nationality, because it's Doug the Syrian. Entering an incorrect date or miscalculating a sum on a spreadsheet. Essentially, a small, unintentional mistake made while copying or writing information down, usually due to carelessness or oversight. And when you go into like the prologues, yeah, because I'm actually in there reading. Let me see if I can get it in this app. Where you go to Sirach, Ecclesiasticus. So this is, let me see. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, right here. Now, it's hard for me to show you where I'm reading, but if you look right where it says, wherefore, see, like I don't want to give y'all that if it's not going to let me show you. This app not going to show it either. But if you go all the way down to right here, I'm going to put it right at the top, right there. That should be good. Where it says, wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us wherein we may seem to come short of some words, which we have labored to interpret, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated to another tongue have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language, right? So you have to know all of this was translated from language after language, right? And sometimes you can have a thought that somebody purposely did that, but this is why, when we study and when we're guided in the scriptures by other men, that's probably going even harder, and it's really Yahweh Shem Yahushai, why we have certain things that's in the internet to be able to help us to really Salaki edify and build up the children of Israel in the word, right? So you got another point where it says key point about clerical errors, usually minor. They are considered minor mistakes that can be easily corrected by referring to other records. And this is what we did. We just used the blue letter, and we was able to see that the word is lined up with H726. As soon as we click H726, it showed us that was going into a clerical error on Doug being the Edomite, which the mistake is that that it says he's an Edomite, but he's really a Syrian, right? When you go to the next one, it says not intentional. Clerical errors are not deliberate and happen due to human error, like a typo or a misplaced decimal point, right? So right there and then, it could just be just an error or just a mistake, or, on the other side, I highly doubt back then, Jake is over here being deliberate and putting it as an Edomite when Israel knew who they was. So you got to know, even when you go to First Maccabees 3 and 48, the heathen has sought, they looked in our law and sought to paint the likeness of themselves as the judges, right? So in some cases, just to make it seem good for Deuteronomy 23 and 7 to not abhor an Edomite, and then look, right now, everybody is so clueless about who an Edomite is, but you got nations hurry up saying that they're Israelites. Certain things ain't adding up, right? And then the bottom part says can be corrected. Most clerical errors can be fixed by simply reviewing the information and making the necessary adjustment, right? And that's what we did. We did an analyze, I'm not trying to make up something. When you start to master and use the blue letter, you'll be able to actually further your understanding, So again, Lord willing, you were edified, and we went straight to the point. Again, 1 Samuel chapter 22, and I'm going to go straight to the verse 18. And the king said to Doeg, turn thou and fall upon the priest. And Doeg the Edomite turned, and he fell upon the priest and slew on the day 585 persons that dare wear a linen ephod. We click that. You go to the coordinates. You go down to where it says Edomite, Doeg the Edomite. And this Adomi was going into the same, almost sounding the same word as when it was into the Syrian, right?
Strong's H130. Edomi. Edomi. And the form just below that, Edom. Edom.
And we seen in that verse, it said Edomite. So why, when we click this, we get the biblical usage of Edomite, and then the Strong's H130 in the following manner, Edomites in Syria. So where the heck did the name Syria come from? You go down to the Strong's definition. So remember that Adomi, and it says C726. We click it. Now it brings us
Strong's H726. Aromim. Aromim. And the form just below that, Adomi. Adomi.
And that Adomi sound like what we just heard in H130. And when we went to the root word of the homology, it's showing you right here that H130, the clerical error, is really going into the word the word of Syrian, right? Aramite, Syrian, right? Strong's translation is Syrian. Then you go down. Edomim, it says a clerical error for H130, right? So this is an error which is in H130. Now, in Edomite, as in the margin, Syrian, right? So it really should be Syrian and not Edomite. So when we click back and we heard that name,
Strong's H130, Edomi. Edomi. And the form just below that, Edom. Edom.
Edomim.
Strong's H726, Aromim. Aromim. And the form just below that, Adomi. Adomi. Strong's H130, Adomi. Adomi.
So
and the
it's
form
really
just
Syrian.
below that,
So Doeg
Edom.
is a Syrian, not
Edom.
an Edomite. Lord willing, this is edifying to the hopeful elect. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, I'm not here to pressure anybody to believe anything. It's all for the elect. And for me, this is not me coming up with something new. This is not of my own. I have to master even my own studying, because when you see certain things, when you say something, and the brother be like, nah, that's not a real Edomite, it's really a Syrian. You be like, man, show me how. They go through all these precepts, and they be like, hey, even if you go into the blue letter, and you're like, okay, let me go, I heard what he said, and then you do your own analyzing. And I had another website, but I kind of deleted because I did a video on Deuteronomy 23:7, and it was certain scholars and certain other individuals. I don't know the person name, and they wrote that it's evident that wasn't talking about an Edomite, it was talking about a Syrian, and it was just a small error. And this is somebody else that's saying it, not somebody that's in the truth. Somebody, I guess, that probably do studying or analyzing the scriptures on certain errors. So, this is just a lesson on, cleaning up certain points in the doctrine, right? So, Lord willing, again, that you are edified. And with that, shalom.